everyone, my name is Lucy. Welcome to my channel, Simple Sunday Afternoons. I'm really happy you joining me today. In today's video, I'm going to be baking a cake. Nothing really complicated. I'm going to be using a cake mix that comes in a box. I'm going to be making this cake my own by simply replacing some of the ingredients, such as the vegetable oil for melted butter, the water for milk, and I'm going to be adding some vanilla extract. So why don't you join me in the kitchen to make this delicious cake in the box. I will be using just a few ingredients for this recipe, and these include one cake mix in a box. This cake mix requires 1 cup of water, 2/3 of vegetable oil, and 3 eggs. And I'm going to be replacing the vegetable oil for 1 stick of butter. And I have melted the butter. I will be using the 3 large eggs, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, and 1 cup of whole milk, and you can use skim milk if that's what you like. And the first step is to preheat the oven at 325 degrees Fahrenheit. And then I'm going to be greasing the pan. This is an aluminum pan, so it requires a lot of grease in order for the cake mix not to stick to the pan. So I'm using Crisco vegetable shortening, and then I'm going to be adding 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour, making sure the whole surface inside the pan is covered with the flour. And I'm discarding any flour that is left loose inside the pan. And I'm cracking the eggs one by one individually. This is just to make sure there's no bad eggs. And I'm using a hand mixer for this recipe, and I'm mixing all of the ingredients before I add the cake mix. So I'm adding the 1 stick of butter, which is half a cup, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, and about half of the portion of the milk. And now I'm going to go ahead and add the cake mix flour. I mix all of the ingredients together until it looks creamy. It takes about 3 minutes in medium speed. Now the cake mix is getting ready to be poured into the pans. I'm using an 8-inch 2-layer pan, but you can use 2 9-inch single-layer pans or cupcakes. Take the air out of the bottom of the pan and place it in the oven at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes. It took 30 minutes for this cake to be baked, but if you use 2 9-inch single layer, it could take less time. I don't have a big bump in this cake, but even though it doesn't have a big bump, I'm going to make sure the top is completely flat. I'm going to invert the cake in a wire rack, and I'm going to let it cool for about 30 minutes before I start frosting the cake. Make sure you watch my video on how to make this delicious frosting. This frosting is called Italian meringue buttercream, and it's really fluffy, very soft, and really delicious. So I really recommend you try that recipe at least once. If you do it once, I'm pretty sure you're going to get hooked and you're not going to change ever again the recipe for your frosting. To avoid the crumbs from the cake to mess up your frosting, place a good amount on top of the cake and then spread it evenly throughout the cake, never lifting the spatula from the frosting and touching the cake. As you can see, now the cake is ready to be decorated. So I'm going to make some disposable bags so I can just throw away in the garbage once I finish decorating the cake. For that, I'm using parchment paper cut in triangles. I'm making a cone and I'm making 2 cones for each color. I'm going to decorate this in white and pink, so I need 2 cones for the white color and 2 cones for the pink color. I'm keeping the folding of the bag in place by placing some scotch tape. You can use masking tape as well or painter's tape. It doesn't matter. One of the bag is going to be holding the frosting and the other bag will be holding the decoration tip. And I'm going to cut about 1/4 of an inch from the bag that is holding the frosting. I'm making the border of the cake with the number 21 open start tip. The bag that holds the frosting is going to be inside the tip. Then I'm cutting about 1/2 inch from the empty bag and put the bag with the frosting with the tip inside the empty bag. That way I can pull out the frosting bag anytime I want to change the tip. And I'm putting just a basic border around the cake. To make this simple shell border, just touch the surface lightly and then press heavily, hesitating long enough to let the shell build up and then fan out. Now we have to say something on the cake, so I'm writing something with pink frosting. I'm going to be using a number 5 tube tip for this purpose. And I'm cutting the tips just like I did before. Cut about 1/4 of the tip from the frosting bag, and the bag goes inside the tip and inside the empty bag. Thanks for watching my videos. I hope to see you back soon. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more. I hope to see you next time.